Hi, it's Lisa. I have these two photos today, which we're going to put on a page called Rain or Shine, and it's about our getting out and walking every day, no matter what the weather. We've mostly had heat to deal with this summer, not rain. In fact, these pictures must have been taken in June or July because it has been extremely dry the last couple of months. I have a fairly themed page, but you could adapt the sketch with changing these are going to be raindrops actually instead of ovals, but you could adapt the sketch to use a different shape in the background or to use a pattern paper in the background. But we're going to split a 6x6 and see how to do something kind of dramatic at the bottom with just a little bit of paper. And I'm going to use some sunshine and umbrella themed for this page as well. Now, the challenge I have at first is figuring out what paper to use. I have gotten in a lot of product in the last few weeks, and so I have a lot of choices here. Often I look at what we're wearing to see, or what colors are in the photo, which in the case of photos of people can often be what you're wearing. And so I've got on a red, white, and blue top, not really bright, and then there's the green grass in the background and stuff. I don't know though whether I want to go with that particular theme though, because I'm not really looking for bold colors. I have a couple of things here. I have Life in Color, which has some of those colors in it, but it also has this gray kind of soft sort of look, but then there's some of the darker backgrounds with the paper. I have this collection from Chamel called Go Now Go, and it has some really good colors for this, but they're a little bit, the color is a little bit more saturated than I think that I want. It's just bolder than I'm looking to go. I'm looking for something a little bit softer and a little more serene for this rainy day, because although it's going to be rain or shine, the photos happen to have been taken in the rain. So I don't know about that, but I do like this Chamel product, which is from an older collection, but I have an umbrella. I have a wood veneer umbrella, and there's supposed to be some clouds, according to my picture. They've probably fallen out in here, so I'll have to, there's one, and maybe there's another one. So we'll see about those. Let's look at a couple of other options. I have the Saturday collection from Dear Lizzie, and it has some stickers. Now, the only thing, I looked through these stickers and I really did not see anything in the stickers that I thought went with this page. I like the colors though. I really like, I've got some of the blue and a lighter color of red. So it has some of the right colors, but it's just softer. It's almost like they've been put through a filter. And this pad, every paper is different, I think. As best I could tell when I went through it. Every paper is different, but there's, still, guys, as I got some reds and just some great colors. So I think this would be wonderful to use for those big raindrops. I love that paper. Even though it doesn't, I wouldn't normally put it with my photos. I don't think it's not a bad match, but I don't think it's a great match. But I just think it's perfect for the story that I'm trying to tell here, and the photos, and I think that looks like it's supposed to be donuts or something, but it looks like big drops to me, so I kind of like it. So I've got several things there in Saturday, but I also found this pad called Garden Party that I bought at Tuesday Mornings that I haven't used at all. This is from Pebbles, and I pulled it out because it even has some umbrella paper. It also has the soft colors. But there's a paper in here somewhere with umbrellas. The other papers, though, I think are too pink. Yeah, there's the umbrella paper. So I'm going to pull the umbrella paper out here. I may end up using that one, but I don't think I'm going to use the other stuff. So I think we're going to go with Saturdays. Now I need one paper for down at the bottom for this. This section is actually just a 6x6 split in half. That's all that is, even though it adds a lot of color to the page. So I could do the umbrellas, except it has to be a paper that when I split it, it can turn. So, and this is not one that can, so it can't be something directional. So let's see what we could use here. So no stripes. I could do the red, but I don't think I really want to emphasize red. Let's pull out some papers here that I know I want to use for the dots. or the, not dots, but the raindrops. I want to do the numbers because this is about numbers. It's about walking every day for so far 6 months, and we're hoping to go more. Okay, so what would be a good base for this? I'm almost thinking something like this. Split this. I could almost do this one. Let's think about how this would be split. If it were split in half, then I would have this side that way, that side that way. That wouldn't be bad. That one is possible. So what are the other, I think, of these? And then we're going to cut up some raindrops out of this. And what I think I'm going to do for my raindrops is I'm fine with them being kind of casual. So I'm going to just probably draw one by hand. I could use the silhouette, but it's a lot of different papers to lay on the silhouette and cut because I'm not going to need that many of them. So let's go ahead and sort of lay this out on 12 by 12, kind of get a feel for how many of these we want. We're going to need something to do this title down here with the sun, and we had a yellow in here. Although I could do, there's a yellow that matches really well. We'll do that one. Down here at the bottom for our sun, and there again I may cut my circle and then do some hand work down here as well for that. So let's kind of see where we want to go. Probably put this on a white background. I could do, I'm not sure this one's going to match. Let's kind of set it aside for the time being. I could do like a light soft blue green, like Soft Sky from Stampin' Up. So let's pull out a couple of possible background papers too. I very quickly settled on the Soft Sky paper. It's one of my favorite colors anyway, and it looked so good with all of these 6x6 papers from the Saturday paper collection. And I'm hand drawing some raindrops. I had to draw a few before I was happy with what I was going to use for the template. I'm going to end up with a couple of different sizes of these because I decided somewhere along the way I needed a little bit smaller one than this as well. And we'll do 2 or 3 out of each paper. Now the stripe, you're going to see that I have this idea of how it's supposed to go, and as soon as I cut it and start laying it out, I realized my mistake. I should have stuck with my original thought that it's a directional paper. It's not going to work because the stripes go one way on one piece of paper and another way on the other piece of paper, and there's just nothing you can do about that. If I had another piece of striped paper, I could cut it the other way on the diagonal, but I don't. So what I did was I cut out that polka dot paper instead, but we're still going to use the stripe. I think that I could use it for a little border, and you can piece stripes really easily. I talk about this in my 6x6 paper pad class, and there's more information over on my blog about that class. If you like 6x6 paper pads, we do all kinds of fun things with them. Really get the most out of those. So I need to make these strips just a little bit longer because they end up, of course, needing to be just a little more than the diagonal measurement of the 6-inch paper. But they give you a nice little finished border. And then that paper doesn't go to waste. And I'm cutting out a specific number. I was cutting out 6 because recently I just completed 6 months of walking every day. But I really think 6 might be better served here for 6 rounds around the track. That's what we typically do most days. So that's probably what my husband will think when he sees that 6 on there. And I thought that, this is a kind of a whimsical page. that these little raindrops needed something, and it might be fun to just outline them. And I'll do the same thing with the sun when I do it, and I really liked it. And I'm outlining with a blue marker from Faber-Castell. Just happened to be a good shade of blue. Kind of getting an idea for the number of raindrops that I'm going to need. And I'm going to do rain or in some thickers, but the shine I didn't have anything the right color, so I'm adding some blue paint, and this is still not the best color to go with this paper, but it's not bad. And normally with this kind of canvas thicker, I don't do paint. It's the first time I've done paint with it, but it seems to be working okay. Now we're going to do our sunshine, and I'm just going to cut a circle, or part of a circle, with my Creative Memories cutter. Part of it's going to get covered up, so there's no reason to waste all of that paper, because I want to use the paper for something else here in just a moment. I do kind of wish I had put the journaling on there before I cut it, but I've forgotten about that. I recently acquired a typewriter. It's my dad's typewriter, and I remembered he had one and he hadn't used it in a couple of years, and he said he wasn't going to be using it again, so he gave me his old typewriter, and I'm using that now to do some of my journaling. I'll probably continue to do some on the computer, but it's just handy that I don't have to have my laptop in my craft room to do journaling, and I like, of course, the typewriter look. So I'm cutting out, some rays for the sun and kind of seeing where I want to put my journaling. I'm going to temporarily adhere this yellow strip piece of paper to just some paper that I can run through my typewriter, and my typing is not that great. Not having a spell check and the ability to go back and edit lines that you've typed way up in your document, I can't do that on a typewriter like I can on a word processor. So I made a mistake, and a couple of mistakes, so I just had to redo one of the lines, and I just typed it over on another piece of yellow paper and glued it over the top. Since I didn't have any more of this particular yellow to start over with the word shine, I thought that would work. So we're getting everything glued on. Now a lot of the stuff is going to hang off the edge, and I'll just trim it with the paper trimmer. When I cropped these photos, I didn't realize I've got mine a little larger than my husband's. It bugged me at first, but after I got the page done, I kind of didn't notice it anymore. So I sort of put his slightly over the top of mine, and hopefully that will be okay. I didn't mean to make him smaller than I am. So we have rain or shine. We have our clouds and our umbrella in there in the wood veneer. The edges are trimmed down, and the last thing I'm going to do is add a little drop of glossy accents to the different raindrops. So our little raindrops have had a chance to dry. I kind of wish now I had just put them scattered amongst the big raindrops, but they still show up. And I do like how the sun came out down here. That's a nice little pun, wasn't it? But anyway, the sun showing down here with the different little pieces of that yellow paper, and of course I had to make a correction to my typing. I have to become a good typist. I was never a great typist. I have to become a better typist again. I got to work in these wood veneer pieces, and I decided just to leave them natural. And then we got our 6x6 paper here. Got off to a little bit of a wrong start with the way that turned, but I'm still able to utilize some of the stripe. And I think having that border to it really adds a lot to it, since it's got some of the white in it as well, and kind of brings all of this together. So we followed the sketch pretty closely, just put the umbrella over on the other side. And if you wanted additional journaling, there's plenty of room down here for this. And of course you could use other designs besides raindrops, or you could use circles, or you could just use a pattern paper back there and utilize the same sketch. So thanks so much for joining me today, and if you like the video, I'd love to get a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you subscribe. You can find the past year's sketches over on my blog. You can find information about that if you're interested in the 2015, 14, or 13 sketchbooks, which have a lot of sketches in them, and they're organized by the number of photos, so they're really easy to follow and to adapt to your projects. Thanks so much for watching.